Hello everyone, my name is Benji. Welcome back to Satisfactory. More specifically, welcome back to Orange Heaven. I wanted to make this video partially because of the fact that Orange Heaven is one of my biggest builds and one of the builds that I am the most proud of in terms of my accomplishments in playing Satisfactory, and I believe that it is a true monument to my dedication to this game. If I could really say that, I guess. If that makes any sense at all. But I also wanted to make this video to say thank you. Because everybody who's watching this video, watching the streams, subscribed to the channel, every single one of you guys is what makes this possible. You give me the drive to be able to want to do this. I've tried streaming in the past. Roughly a year ago now, I tried to stream some Last of Us and some other games, and I just never had any sort of interaction, so it was just me playing a game, talking to myself on the internet, and that wasn't very fun, so I stopped. And then I started back up again. I don't quite remember why, but I started back up again with Doom Eternal, and Supreme came out, and that kinda sparked something. Supreme wanted to see the Doom, and I wanted to play Doom, so I just kept streaming. That blossomed into Hollow Knight, and then we picked up Anna, and then that blossomed into so many other games that we've done at this point. Resident Evil, Satisfactory, Hollow Knight, Doom, Subnautica, Below Zero, and there's too many even for me to remember at this point. And it's all thanks to you guys. The channel has been steadily growing in the past couple of days, couple of weeks more accurately, and we're at 23 subscribers at this point, and I never in my wildest dreams thought that I would ever be subscribed. Like, I never thought I would ever get a following or do anything. I don't do this for fame or money or anything. I do this for fun, and I do it for you guys. I do it for the interaction, and it's just fun, in my opinion. So I wanted to make this video as a way to say thank you. Thank you for helping me do this. Thank you for all of the parts that you guys play in this as something that I do on the side of my main career. So, thank you. But with all that sappy, emotional stuff out of the way, let us take a tour of the lovely Orange Heaven. The build that took me roughly 10 hours in total to complete the entire build, ranging from planning and marking out the Excel sheet to actually placing down all 200 of these generators and the trains and all of the pipe work, the 70 refineries and the 80 packagers, 20 water extractors, and some more extra odd stuff down there for the waste recycling. So, we're gonna go to wherever this starts, which is way off that way, and just take it from start to finish. So the whole project stems from right here with these 3 oil extractors, which are all overclocked to some degree or another. That one over there is producing a full 600. Both of these are producing 150 each. 150? I'm pretty sure it's 150 each. And it splits off in such a way to have 2 lines of 450 going along this diagonal and up and into the factory. Once it's actually into the factory portion of Orange Heaven, which is this lovely warehouse structure that I have created, it goes 1 line down to a repeated system, which I will not explain because it's the exact same as this system, with the exception of the polymer resin. But this line goes into these 15 refineries, perfectly split with all of the valves, so that each refinery is only getting 30 oil, which is what it requires. That 450 oil turns into a 600 line of heavy oil residue, utilizing the heavy oil residue alternate recipe directly from oil straight into heavy oil residue and polymer resin as a byproduct, which is being used, and we'll go over that later. And then we're using the diluted packaged fuel method because I did not have blenders unlocked at this point in time. I didn't have the power production to be able to run aluminum and actually get the radio control units used in a blender. Otherwise, this would be using blenders instead of the packager loop method. But we didn't have them yet, so we're using the packager loop. The diluted packaged fuel recipe, for anybody who is not aware, takes heavy oil residue and packaged water, turns it into packaged fuel. And that's this entire 20 line of refineries. The packaged water is coming down from way at that side and ends up being produced over here. The packaged fuel then goes into these packagers to become unpackaged and go into these two pipelines. This is a 20 line of packagers. Every 10 is connected to a pipe, and then the last 10 is connected to the other pipe. They go along the side and run straight down over to the fuel generators. The empty canisters, as you can now see, go underneath and into a buffer right there, which has, well, had some extra canisters inside of it. And there are 5 of those, one for each 4, going into the packagers that are taking water from underneath of us and packaging it, and then running all of the packaged water down and around the end. This system is literally a repeat of the other system. It's 15, 20, 20, and 20. It's the exact same system, just placed in a different area, because we needed it for the other 450 line of oil. Now, the polymer resin byproduct, we've got one line of 120 and one line of 480. I believe it's 600 total polymer resin being produced by the factory. Now, this polymer resin needs to be used because if it backs up, heavy oil won't be produced, which means the fuel won't be produced, which means that those 200 fuel generators will not run. And that's bad because then we won't get our 30,000 megawatts of power that we want. So the polymer resin, the 120 line, goes into here and combines with water from that extractor to create rubber. The rubber goes into those 2 manufacturers with some coal that we stole from the Red Forest. And the other polymer resin goes in with this water to make fabric. The fabric goes into the manufacturers with the coal and the rubber. These make gas filters. Gas filters are something that will protect us from stinky gas, but they're also a component in the new iodine-infused filters which protect us from radiation, which we are going to be needing whenever we start doing our uranium plant, which we are aptly naming Chernobyl, to protect us from the radiation. Now, I have a plan to farther protect us from the radiation, and I will get to that later. Right now, it's not important because we've got a lot of other projects going on. Once the rubber and fabric back up in the manufacturers, in order to keep the polymer resin flowing, they get sent out of the system, around the corner, and into a resource sink. Now, we could have been lazy and just straight up sunk... Wow, 77 tickets, that's crazy. We could have been lazy and just sunk the polymer resin straight up, but polymer resin is not very... what's the word? Not very valuable in the resource sink. So not only would that have been extremely lazy of us to do, but it also wouldn't have gotten us a whole lot in the way of tickets. Whereas if we use it to produce these subject parts, the rubber and the fabric, to do gas filters, not only do we get the gas filters, which are very, very handy, but we also get a little bit of extra coupons from the fabric and rubber once they're all completely done with. And there's an autosave happening. I'm going to see you guys after the autosave. Sorry about the inconvenience. Alright, with the autosave complete, because it locks me in place for a couple of seconds, because this world is just too large. Anyway, the gas filters come around the side here, and go through this little skipping stone method, and into our home train station. Speaking of train stations, this is the home train line. So this is the train that gets us to and from everywhere, but doesn't necessarily get resources to and from everywhere, with the exception of the radio control units. The silver conductor train is actually connected to the home train line just because I didn't feel like running a separate train line when we already had the home one so close to the aluminum factory. We've got this nice little spiral to get the train up a level and through the factory, where we can see the water, the refineries, the heavy oil residue, the packaging and unpackaging, and everything else, with this lovely green northern forest hue, which I'm a little worried about Update 5 and the fact that they said they're going to be reworking the northern forest area, which is this biome. And we're kind of in this biome, so I really, really hope that Orange Heaven does not get buried. Anyway, time for the big part of everything, the actual fuel gens, which I used this, I think is pretty neat pillar design, where I took one pillar, put a little middle pillar in between, and then did another pillar. That took forever, by the way. I actually think I still have a hotbar for it. Yeah, there's the hotbar for it. So I literally went around and I just did this. I would pull out the first part, boom, and then I would do that, and then you get the picture. It took a while, but I think it's worth it because it looks nice. So each floor here has 50 fuel gens, 5 rows of 10, which were a pain to place down, and then all of the pipes were hand-placed as well, and all of the power poles were hand-placed as well, and it took a long time. We also have the fuel separated here by a little skipping stone platform, because I really like that design for some reason. I'm not really sure why, but I do. I really like that design. And then we've got pumps getting it up to the relevant floors, and then more pumps as was necessary to get them up to each individual new floor. 200 batteries, which is 24,000 stored megawatts, I believe. Yeah, 24,000 stored megawatts. That's combined with the extra, I think we've got like 30 back home in the old biofuel area. And it's pretty tall. I mean, you can see pretty much the entire map from here. I say pretty much because the red forest kind of blocks a whole bunch of stuff off. Like, you can't really see back home or anything. You can kind of see the old computer factories and stuff over there, which are going to be ripped out here soon. Over there in that little gap between those two mountains is actually where we're going to be doing turbo motors and stuff in the very, very near future. Let's see, what else can I show you while I'm up here? Probably in this biome, which is the northern forest, which it won't let me ping in this biome here, we're probably going to be working on adaptive control units and modular engines, which are space elevator parts for Tier 2, which I never ended up doing. Or Tier 3, I think, maybe? I don't remember. Which we never ended up automating, and we're going to need to automate those eventually. And then way off over there in the Dune Desert is going to be our nuclear pasta factory, which is going to be aptly named Rome, because it is going to not be built in a day. That's for sure. We've got some crazy plans going here from the rest of the save, but for right now, this is all I had for you and all I wanted to show you, so I'm going to leave you with this wonderful view out into the world and say thank you very much for watching. Thank you again for being here and helping me do what this is, helping me have fun with this. I literally couldn't and wouldn't do it without you guys, so it really does mean a lot, and I really am happy that you guys are all enjoying the content, or at least I'm hoping you're enjoying the content. So, thank you again. I will see you in the next one. Have a great one.